Good morning. Welcome to our Journey 2050 teacher workshop. We have a small crowd because I have heard that several school districts have instated today as a makeup for snow. So we had several let me know that they couldn't be on today's call, but we are recording, so anyone can watch this at a later date. So Kelsey, welcome. If you have questions for us today, feel free to put them in the chat and or unmute yourself and you can ask at any time. But I would love to introduce myself. I'm Jennifer Elwell with the Kentucky Agriculture and Environment in the Classroom. And we have with us Tessa Matusak. She is with the National Agriculture in the Classroom as programs director, and she has worked with this program for a long time. I know we have many teachers here in Kentucky, middle school and high school teachers that love using this program in their classrooms. The kids love the game. The teachers love the educational component that goes with it. And I'm just going to turn this over to Tessa so she can tell us all about it and how it works, how it can be implemented in your classroom.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. And I'm excited to share with you all today a little bit about Journey 2050. This is a great program, a great free resource that has been around now for a few years and is still just evolving to be a great asset in just about any classroom you can think of. It's a cross-curricular program and really designed with some neat incentive behind it and engagement opportunities for students and hands-on learning, experiential learning, project-based learnings, all kind of tied into this program. So today I'm just kind of going to go over basically the bits and pieces of everything, how to use it in your classroom, share some new updates, and definitely take any questions that we may have. So Journey 2050 is a free program that was designed to answer this profound question. As we see the world's population continuing to grow, we know that it's predicted to reach nearly 10 billion people by the year 2050. And with that in mind, it poses this question of how do we ensure that we have enough for everyone in the future? How do we take care of what we have well enough that it still exists or is retained in the future? And how do we feed everyone? That if there's nearly 2 billion more people coming onto this planet, as more people come, that changes our resources, our land use, what we have to really feed the world, clothe the world, make the world go round as a global community. So this curriculum was designed to help answer that question, guide students through understanding that thought process and looking at the future, and providing teachers and educators with a tool that could really start those conversations and work through this problem. It is based on curriculum. It was designed with teachers and agriculture industry experts, and a fun, neat, unique part of it is that it has a virtual simulation game that goes along with the lesson plan. Again, all of this is free. It's all accessible at journey2050.com, which will show us in a little bit. We like to say that there's up to 7 hours of free programming there for you to play with and use as you want to need, but really you could expand out for hours more. We have abundant resources listed on the website and in the curriculum section that are partner pieces or other things that have been designed just to accompany the core lesson theme. The learning options are really flexible. This was completely accessible online prior to COVID, which was great. So you could really access it anywhere. And then when COVID took place and we all kind of went virtual, it was ready to go. And we saw teachers start to use it around the globe, which has really been exciting. So it's not just in US and Canada. It is around the globe now. And Nutrien, who is one of the developers of the game, the one that kind of helped create this come to be, is stationed out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada is their headquarters. So we have a great programming opportunity between all of North America, really. So US and Canada work closely together and make sure this program is reaching teachers everywhere. Students get to experience the lives of farm families in different countries around the world, which is really neat. So again, the concept of understanding that we are part of a global community and that every impact that we do in our own lives, every choice we make has a ripple effect and impact occurs, and that eventually trickles out into our our family, our local community, our state, nation, globe. So understanding, how powerful our choices are. And those students that are receiving this information are going to be the leaders someday, right? Of those places where they can vote, decisions they can make in local government and beyond. So it's important to educate and bring awareness and provide truth and facts, and really how agriculture is a part of all of our lives and essential. We all wear clothes, eat food, drive cars, live in houses. That's all related back to something was cultivated from the land, processed into something, and we're all, essential in agriculture. So as students kind of walk through these lessons and play through the game, they really get to see, again, those impacts and their choices. And the way we like to talk about it is how it affects your sustainability score when we're talking about the game. And we're really kind of looking at three main pillars or factors, which is our society, our environment, and our economy. And those will fluctuate and change in the game. And that's how students can really kind of understand how their choices elevate or decrease kind of their overall sustainability in choices. And so we'll explore that more in the game. So where does this fit into curriculum? It fits just about anywhere, which is really great. So it's a program that you can take to your school and share with many teachers on campus. We see our science teachers using it, social studies, career and tech ed, agriculture teachers. It's a easy slam dunk into those curriculum needs. Family consumer science, STEM teachers, 4-H programs, homeschool programs. It's going everywhere, and it's really exciting. These lessons meet next generation science standards among all the other, a lot of the essential ones that are needed throughout the US in different ways. We have a database on the website where you can go look up your state standard alignment right there and have that easily accessible. And I'll show you where that lives in a little bit. But it's really a great one, a program that you can take on campus. It's free. There might only be a lesson or two that apply maybe to the science teacher or the social studies teacher, but it's still a really neat free resource. And so definitely encourage you to think about how your fellow colleagues could utilize it. Again, talking about standards, this is just a quick screenshot of kind of what that may look like when you hop on the website to search things out. On the top piece here is what it looks like on the Journey 2050 website. And I did want to bring up, since I am part of the National Agriculture in the Classroom team, and that's how we promote this program out through the US. On our curriculum matrix, you can also find how the standards are aligned through the lesson plans there. Those lesson plans are also listed on NACO's matrix. So those look a little different, but same standards, just a different structure and view. And this is just a quick screenshot of something else I'll show more in depth on the website. But we wanted to kind of have an easy tool accessible as teachers kind of hear about this program in different core subjects. Well, what lesson might make the most sense for me? I'm not an ag teacher, so what else would fit in? So we've kind of made a little cheat sheet of what might be the most applicable to that core subject. Everything is provided. Everything is there for you, ready to go. There's no cost. You just pick and pull what you'd like. A great thing about this program is you can use all the lessons, or you can just take what you feel is needed at that time during your curriculum in a year, or something that just meets the moment for maybe when a sub comes in. It's just really a resource there for you to use to your need. And again, why is this so important? We know our population is growing. A few months ago, the UN estimated we had likely reached 8 billion. Very hard to tell with all the changes that occur throughout world population, but we are growing. And again, we're still expected to reach 10 billion by 2050. So that's just going to put more pressure on us as a world, as a community, agriculturalists, of how do we produce enough food, products, resources to just continue to grow and have enough. And with that comes so many other challenges we can't control, like weather, pests, consumer preference. All those things have an impact on how our fields are utilized to produce crops and resources. When we talk about sustainability in the program, we have created this image, this graphic called the sustainability barrel, to help students really conceptualize those kind of key points and factors. And this also serves as the score in the game. So you'll see in level 1 through 4, in the video game portion that this is their score, and they'll see their barrel levels fluctuate based on those choices that they make. And really understanding that it might just not be about getting the most money in the bank. And just because you farmed one crop and had all that crop money paid off into your bank account, you might have depleted your soil, not invested in your community. So those pillars are very low and your score is very low. So it's a great way to show that it's working in unison, and that it's many factors that are involved in really what we call, being sustainable. This is kind of the key theme throughout the whole program for each level. So level 1 through 4 are kind of our ag farming focused levels. We talk about the introduction to sustainability, what is agriculture, nutrients, plant, soil health, water, and economy. And those are the game levels where you're farming around the globe on currently 3 different farm families in Kenya, India, and Canada. And then level 5 is understanding land use, geography, cultural impacts. Those are kind of like knowledge test quiz levels in the game. And level 6 is about careers and understanding how there are careers direct into the agriculture industry, such as becoming a farmer or owning a creamery. But then there's things like, well, I love math and I want to be an accountant someday. Well, how can that have an impact on agriculture and sustainability? Well, many farmers use an accountant to do their finances. And so understanding all the opportunity to really be engaged in feeding the world. And in that level, you let the students walk through what is a career avatar building experience. So they kind of get to have a career populated based on their likes and interests, which is pretty neat. Level 7 was developed a couple years ago, so there's not currently a game level for that yet, but that talks about technology and innovations happening in agriculture, things that are coming into play, stuff that's still being imagined and refined as how could we actually implement it. Things like robots picking fruit in the field. How do we use a drone to capture, imaging and pest control, using devices on animals that are like a Fitbit to understand how the health of an animal may be. Cool things like that really get a lot of students excited because it's technology they can relate to or have an interest to or use in their lives already, sort of. And then our action piece at the end is a program summary that's focused on project-based learning. And that's just letting the students, if you are to walk through this whole program, kind of take everything they've learned, take a problem that they see in their local community, school, maybe even at home, that could help increase their sustainability and have some positive impact, and getting to kind of work through that and maybe even putting it into motion in real life at school or home or in their state or beyond. So the game portion is accessible a couple different ways. Through the App Store and Google Play, there's a free app. So students can get, teachers or IT teams can download that app directly onto student devices, or you can play through the web browser on journey2050.com. And I would love to show a little snippet of the video that talks about level 1 and kind of what is sustainability. So every level is accompanied by a video that's part of the scripted out curriculum to play. It's short, it's compact, it's easy, just kind of hits those key messages and target points. Also in the game, if the student is to put in a teacher code, which you're provided when you're registering, it's going to bypass a video being played each level. But if the student doesn't put in a teacher code, it's going to play this video that's associated to the level, thinking that maybe the student needs to just rehear this. Maybe they just kind of skipped ahead and went to the video. They just implemented that piece so that way the student really understands what they're the purpose behind what they're doing in that game level is. So I will show you that really quickly.
What will our world be like in the year 2050? By 2050, the Earth will be crowded by 2 billion more people. They're all going to need water, homes, jobs, and medicines. But most importantly, how are they all going to be fed? This growing population will eat the equivalent to all of the food grown in the last 500 years put together. That's over 60% more than we grow today. 1 billion tons more cereal and 50% more fresh water every year. This extra food has to be grown on less land in a way that protects the environment and animals, while making sure there's enough food for generations to come. This is called sustainability, and it can only be achieved by improving its three interconnected elements: economy, society, and environment. Let me show you what we mean. Imagine a barrel with parts made equally from these three elements. Well, you can only fill this barrel until its lowest piece. So if the environment is the lowest piece of the barrel, it limits the sustainability. This piece must be improved to make the world's sustainability better. What does economic mean here? It's about earning money, creating jobs and incomes to support the national and local community. Then there are the social needs. People need things like food, education, and medical care to stay healthy. We also need infrastructure like roads to get the food from the farm to your plate. And finally, there are environmental needs. Soil quality needs to be maintained. Habitats need protection. Water must be conserved. And we need to protect our atmosphere by keeping our greenhouse gases to a minimum. Our world leaders committed to 17 global goals in the United Nations.
That is sort of what you kind of can expect from each of these videos, and what that feel is, what that experience is. Again, the kind of the highlights of just what it is in that key theme for that level. So now that we kind of know what the sustainability barrel is, a little bit about what we're trying to do in achieving sustainability, I'd like to hop over to the game and show you what it looks like to play level 1. So we are going to go ahead and just going to do initials. This data, this is what is asked of when a student plugs in or turns on Journey 2050 game. So there's never any student data collected other than first name and last name if you instruct them to do so. What the teacher code is, when you register on journey2050.com, you're assigned a 4-digit letter code. And if that's inputted, it's going to create teacher reports for the students in your account. If you want nothing to do with the reports or don't want students to bother with it, they can just leave it blank. It's an optional piece for you. So because I didn't put in my teacher code, it's going to think, well, shoot, you probably don't know what you're doing, so you should know what level 1's about. So then you hop on through, we can watch it or you can skip it. So level 1, this is kind of what we call the demo, because it is assisted by one of our real life farm families that's put into the game. They're all real families that work with Nutrien. So we are going to get to go to Kenya. And we are going to meet Shamey, who at one point was an agronomist for Nutrien, and see what it's like to farm on his farm. So he is going to help us kind of with these like help bubbles throughout level 1, because again, it's sort of a demo just to get students familiar, but we're going to walk through what we're doing. We're starting to farm. So we are planting crops that are realistic to his country. We, as we progress through the farming levels 1 through 4, we see pests and weather disasters and problems occur that are realistic to those countries that you're farming in. We will have opportunities to do things like investments will pop up over here on the screen. Our beans are growing, so I'm going to harvest. You can see my sustainability barrel over here on the left bottom corner is slowly going. So I have an investment that just popped up. So I can invest in some land. So this would be great because then, you know, it's continuing in production. It's not maybe going to be a new home developed. But again, we'll see our positives and negatives called out for us so we can know what our choice is really doing. All the levels are actually on a timer. So it goes pretty quick, this first level. You're just in this one country. Once you get to level 2, you get to do Kenya, India, and Canada as your countries that you are in. And so some educators like to do this in front of their students first, just to walk them through and show them. Some educators have, I know, kind of let kids repeat the first level if they feel like it goes too fast, depending on their reading level and kind of where they're at to be able to read through things on that timer. But for the most part, usually they just kind of let kids go. Some educators will play the level every time they go through a lesson. So like we'll go through lesson and then do game, lesson and game. Some educators go through the level of the lesson plan together, and then do the game all at the end. So I've heard it done different ways. You don't have to start on level 1. You can pick and pull and start on any of them. So it's flexible really to your interest and need. At the end, you're always going to get a sustainability score report, and we're going to just continue through, and it's going to talk about our ripple effect of our choices made. So we understand kind of why our pillars of our sustainability barrel are the way they are. And then I have an option. So I can do something to invest in my habitat, which my pillar is already really, that's the highest. So like, it's not going to really help me level out to have greater overall sustainability. It's a positive thing to do. So it's just, a choice a student can make. Okay, so that is level 1. I am going to hop back over to this presentation and just run through the rest at a really high level, just so you can understand kind of what you get to experience. Oops, there we go. Okay, level 2. So after we kind of get that intro into farming, understanding agriculture and sustainability score, we move into a little more in depth on that plant health, soil health aspect, and we dig into earning our 4R badge, understanding the right source, time, place, and rate to apply nutrients. That's vital in having a healthy production land production happening. So we need to make sure we understand how to take care of our soil, replenish what's taken. And you have that option when you're in the game. You're going to have options. This is where students start to really see how much their choices have an impact. This is also a great way you could start to team up students into different teams. Like half the class can do no nutrient application. Half the class can either pick, standard or best. And they really get to see the differences and how it transforms their sustainability. And they just basically get to make a fun kind of tie-dye effect over their crop when they are applying that fertilizer. Again, Shani pops in when something brand new happens to teach you, just so you're aware. But really, then students get to go for it. I apologize. I meant to take that door prize. We don't have a door prize today, but this is a fun thing that you do have the opportunity to win potentially for just being a participant. Being a teacher, providing feedback. On the website, there's a place to provide feedback, and every year we raffle off $100 gift cards that can be used towards donations to global sustainability or agriculture foundations and organizations through nutrients. So that's just kind of a fun incentive, and also a neat way for students to have some impact on making a difference. If you were to receive that, then you all could, work together, decide why you want to maybe make that donation or make it even a greater donation with your own efforts at school, something like that. Okay, level 2, I'm happy to jump in and play, or we can just kind of keep going and then circle back to see maybe what you're most interested in a level to view. That sound good? Okay. So again, highlight just kind of level 1 through 4 is going to be farming. So you are going through cultivation practices, conservation techniques, and understanding economy and trade. When the students get to level 4, you're going to be able to play in the market a little bit and understand kind of what that means, how that works, what a farmer goes through to, get his surplus taken out and into the world, how a buyer is looking for those things, all that is real life and how it happens from how we go from the field to our plate. Again, we're really focusing on balancing our factors and having the greatest overall sustainability score. Level 5 is going to be that knowledge test, that kind of quiz bowl type level. This is a screenshot of one of the pieces. There's different kinds in level 5, but this is kind of a guessing game of what you think the world looked like in the 1900s versus now. Level 5 is a great one for a lot of geography teachers love this, and social studies. It talks about our land use and our geography a lot and incorporates this neat visual and this activity you can do with a apple. This has been used kind of in all different grade levels to understand what our Earth's surface looks like and what is usable for us to have food production occur on. And so in reality, it's only roughly that little tiny 3% that is what we have to use to produce our food. And that's why it's so important to hold on to what we have and be thoughtful and resourceful and think about sustainability in that way. Is that, you know, we can't just make more usable land when you look at things in the desert and locked up in water or in cities. So the apple activity is lined out in that lesson plan, and there's great resources. There's actually even an apple model on the National Agriculture in the Classroom website store that you can purchase. That's a magnetic piece that is a great visual. But we love, you know, doing a presentation and giving every student an apple and getting to walk through that activity to see it's that little tiny sliver of peel is what we have really to work with. So pretty impactful and a great snack for students at the same time. Level 6 is our careers again. And that's where we just dig into understanding how many people are involved in, you know, making our products that come from agriculture. So a great kind of intro to that icebreaker for the beginning of the lesson is laid out. It's doing this kind of food web, if you will, of careers and letting the students come up with, you know, every career that's taken to make a piece of cheese. Who's involved? Like, how does that happen? What kind of industry professionals are we working with? And so, you know, eventually you can get all these kind of answers, hopefully from students. And really you'll see that there's the things like the crop farmer that you might have thought of that makes the crops to feed the dairy animals, or the dairy farmer, or the vet. But then on the other side of that, we have, you know, engineer, plant geneticist, soil scientist, mechanic, inspector, bank loans officer. So really students can see like, wow, you know, I can have a positive impact kind of wherever I am. So it's a great fun activity. And this is just a screenshot of kind of one of the examples of what a career avatar could look like. Again, it populates a career that kind of meshes well with those interests of the students. And those are real life profiles featured. It talks about the education that they had to go through and, you know, what skills and educational things were needed for them to become that professional in the industry, what they love about their job, some great things like that. And then level 7, again, our technology and innovation. I'm not going to show the video today, but it's just a great one. It covers drones, robots, eating insects for protein as an alternative, lab grown meat. What does that mean? High level on GMOs. You know, all these cool inventions that we're thinking of and seeing happening in the industry. And so a fun resource that's kind of there for you to use if you want or have time, or a sub maybe coming in that day. We try to give lots of resources to use as you need to just build on that level theme. This is kind of a fun, like, get to know you bingo, so that the students can get up and move around a little bit and try to fill in their bingo squares. But it's calling out those technologies and innovations that we're using all the time in our daily lives that are also happening in agriculture. So kind of connecting those dots. And then finally, that action piece at the end that I mentioned, that project-based learning, it is focused on really letting students develop something, an actionable project that helps sustainable agriculture and really, you know, bring something of value to them and their interest, and letting them just kind of run with it. And so that's a great kind of way to cap off all you've learned through that program. So I'm going to hop over to the website and show you what Journey 2050's website looks like. So this is journey2050.com, and this is where you're going to go to get started to create your free teacher account. So you would just go to register and create your free teacher account. I will go to sign in, but I just wanted to point out that there's also a student page. So if you want your students to do something self-led, like say, okay, guys, you know, I want you to go to journey2050.com. Today, you need to go take care of level 2. They can just go to online lessons, drop down to 2. It has the video for them, a handout to go with the video and the PowerPoint, and then they can go ahead and play the game. So it's kind of like a shortened version of if you were to go through the whole lesson plan itself, but that is a piece that really we kind of developed during COVID, when there was just so much online utilization of students having to kind of take care of their learning a little bit self-led. So when we sign in, we will see that our teacher code populates right at the top. That's what you are going to provide to the students if you'd like the teacher report to be something that you access. If not, it's just there when you want it or if you need it. We have Journey 2050 laid out in kind of 3 options. So there's the online program, which means you and your students are accessing the curriculum. You're taking care of things as your interest level and need is. The guest speaker program is in a few limited locations in North America, in the US and Canada. And that's where somebody virtually or in person may come into the classroom and help teach Journey 2050 for you. And then the field trip program has to do with Calgary, Alberta, Canada, because at the Calgary Stampede Grounds, Nutrien has Journey 2050 classrooms. And so students actually are bussed in throughout the school year to experience Journey 2050 programming, which is pretty neat. So then as an educator, we have a few different options to see how to use it remotely, which is pretty self-explanatory and normal now for us to be on like remote learning days. But if we go down to learning more on the online program, we're going to see what our next steps are. But then just scrolling down, we'll find every lesson, every piece of curriculum. You can grab all the files on this zip folder right here, or you can just pick and pull as you please. So lesson plan, PowerPoint, video, game level, all of that's just right there for you. In the last, well, just now we're in the new year. So just at the end of 2022, we kind of created some additional resource links and resources. So our enriching activities, these are kind of more maybe those shorter make and take, brief lesson plans that might just kind of add on to that theme of the lesson. And then we have what we're calling take a deeper dive, and that goes into more full-on lengthy lesson plans that are actually from the National Agriculture in the Classroom curriculum matrix. So if you you want to spend a few weeks on plant health and soil, you would be able to find hopefully ample resources here that would lead you to continuous learning and curriculum pieces, so you wouldn't have to worry about creating it. There's so many great things already out there. And so some of these enriching activities are attached to those key partners of Journey 2050, such as National Agriculture in the Classroom, Nutrients for Life Foundation, Calgary Stampede, Ag in the Classroom Canada. Those are really key partners that help make this program continue to flourish and evolve. So once we've kind of grabbed what we wanted from the website, you can come back always and pick and pull as you need. There's also some agricultural resources. If you're ever looking for something in particular, we have a world population counter, some great things that just help you maybe dig deeper into those interests. You can search right up here. We have news, games, ways to get involved, kind of your general website things, but then there's also just this nice, easy link to play the game. So that will take you straight to the web browser version that I'm in, or also on the student page, you could go back and play through there. So are there any questions at this point on the journey piece? I'd love to share a little bit about Farmers 2050. I just want to pause there.
I remember in maybe last year's National Ag in the Classroom meeting, are they still working on developing an American farm?
Yes, yep. So that's my exciting news I was going to share. Yes, so we have, and I can actually show you a great picture of the farm family. This is the Van Lobel cells, and they are our newest farm family that is being developed into Journey 2050 right now as we speak. We are getting closer and closer by the minute. So this is a real farm family that is a Nutrien using family. They are from Northern California in the Sacramento Valley, and we are going to get to have their farm built in. And what's going to happen is once you reach level 2, students will have the option to either farm in the US or Canada. So it'll be Kenya and India, and then you can either farm in California essentially, or Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So we're very excited. This will be launching by next school year. So come next school year, August 2023, we are excited that we will hopefully, everything is going well so far. You'll be able to choose if you want to do the US or Canada. So yes, we are very excited about that. Another update, we are having French resources continually be added because we have a lot of French speaking users in Canada. So we have the curriculum translated and the game will be being translated as well. Spanish is kind of our hope too as well on the horizon to have that opportunity done. And we'd love to we're just continually evolving and updating things throughout the game. So if there's ever any teacher feedback or program leader feedback, please send my way because we want to make it the most applicable, accessible, useful piece of curriculum that could ever be. So we love to know what is needed and what is working or what your heart desires in the game. Is there anything else regarding Journey 2050 before I hop over to farmers that might be helpful to explain?
What are the grade levels that typically use this program?
Thank you, Jennifer. So here in the US, we are always promoting the program as grades 7 through 12 is aligned in standards. But even in the US, we have it aligned down to the 6th grade. And I know there's educators that use it lower than that. And I know there's educators that use it for pre-service teachers and pre-service work. So we really see a lot of use in the middle school levels here in the US and 9th grade for that kind of intro to ag class. It's been fun though to watch it kind of bounce around the US, bounce around globally. We have quite a bit of users in Australia right now, which is fun. We've also seen an interest in, I don't know if Kentucky does the World Food Prize competition, the student competition at all, where they do like a project. But this has become a resource we're hearing around the US and actually outside the US of something they use for their project and when they're going into kind of that learning space. So that's been great. So awesome. Well, I just want to mention Farmers 2050 because students love the video game portion of Journey 2050. It's only, like I said, 6 levels. Students wanted more. They would keep playing and asked for, why doesn't the game go longer? So Nutrien decided a way to fix that would be to develop a actual real life farming game that's just a free farm game that is going to still kind of teach those key sustainability pieces, but also just be fun and have more levels. So we'd like to say it's the extended version so students can keep learning, keep playing. It's a great thing. I know teachers love to use it for like bell ringer or when they're on a field trip and you need to have the students do something somewhat productive or accountable for homework, to keep farming and see what that looks like. But Farmers 2050 is a little different. It's one farm versus traveling around multiple around the globe. Again, sustainability barrel is still kind of your score. So you see those economic, social, and environmental pillars fluctuating. You're growing crops, raising animals, crafting goods, selling, trading, interacting with people around the globe, learning to buy things from other producers around the globe when they're in season because you can't grow them on your farm, things like that. It's available free in the App Store, Google Play are your 2 options. There's no ads or in-app fees. There's no timers. It's 30 levels currently. And it's just a fun, great way to stay connected and keep learning. My kids that are way too young to try to farm still try. My 5-year-old tries to play every now and then. So we see it's open to all ages. But a fun part about it is that we have real life events that are tied to this game piece. And so what happens is every now and then we have constant events running in the game where when you join a team or you get to level 5 and start a team, you have to get to level 5. You can compete and you can compete for fun, but sometimes there's real life donations actually happening. So real life donation agriculture in the classroom conference always happens every year. So we have our state and territory programs competing, trying to win $1,000 for their program, a donation on behalf of Nutrien. And so it's a great way to kind of just stay engaged and have some fun. There's also events programs in there for FFA, National FFA Convention. A lot of kind of those national level partners are highlighted, or sometimes there's real life donations to natural disasters occurring, things like that. So another cool tool just to utilize for learning and education in a different way. And again, I've talked about a few of these partners, but you might see other programs or partners or places using this program. These are kind of our North America partners as of right now. And my role with National Agriculture in the Classroom is if there's ever a need from a state or territory Ag in the Classroom program leader, such as Jennifer, or if teachers or students are having trouble or would like some help or better understanding or anything, I'm here to help support that. So whatever I can do to help you all utilize this program or understand it or spread the word, I just, please reach out, please let me know. Are there any questions?
I think you've done a great job of laying this out. I think one of the biggest questions we have, or maybe the apprehension, is getting signed up to get started, but it seems like a really easy process to do that.
Yes. And just, I think some educators I have heard aren't sure how to implement it, or they feel like I can't do all of the lessons. It's okay. You don't have to do all 8 levels. I know a lot of educators say it's really great too when they know they have a sub coming because it's so self-directed. We really tried to make it very user-friendly. And students, I know we know from the metrics they love the game. Nearly most of the usership of the game is down here in the US. And so we know it flows really well in our schools and in the curriculum needs. So I think it's just a great fun resource that really does give some really important, valuable information and facts about how do we, stay sustainable? What does that mean? How does our future work with all these people coming into the population? So just some great important information in a fun way.
Yeah, I was just thinking that one of our teachers actually put kind of a lesson plan together for her intro to agriculture class, which is 9th grade. So what I'm going to, and she actually lists out how she utilizes Journey 2050 in her classroom. So I'm going to try to find that. And then we'll also provide that with this video for anybody that can is going to watch it later.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Thank you so much, Tessa, for joining us today and letting our teachers know about this awesome resource.
Yes. If there's anything I can do, you just let me know. Happy to help.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
If anyone has watched this and you need some additional information, it's Journey 2050. It's .com, correct? Yes. Or you can visit our website, teachkyag.org, and see some additional resources. We also have a Facebook page. So I just encourage, everybody to check those out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.